What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Threezero MDLX Jazz. So this is the next in the series of MDLX figures. Last we looked at the Sideswipe. Now we're going to take a look at this guy. And he looks really good. He's got some really nice paint and sculpted detail on him. Starting from the top, we got some black paint, metallic blue for the eyes, silver for the face, silver with blue stripe and the Autobot logo there. That all looks nice. White with a black wash on top, which looks good. Metallic blue for the headlights. Red for the stripe on the bottom. That all looks good. Black with silver accents. White with silver accents. And again, a wash on this. The chest, we've got some nice silver detail underneath there. It really does look good. I mean, they just got fully painted abs with a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. That looks good. Silver accents here and here. Metallic blue there. You have nice like grill style shins. I think that looks neat. Coming to the side, we have these kind of faux wheels here. Painted well. Here's the back. We've got the exhaust pipes in the bottom of the feet. That's pretty cool. And on his back, we've got the actual vehicle's hood, which I think is pretty cool. I just find it neat that they did that. And it's even got the windshield wiper and the rearview mirrors folded down to make it look like he's actually transformed. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice attention to detail. He does have kind of big feet and lower legs, but that is the styling of the MDLX line. So that's just kind of how they do business. May not be everyone's preference, especially on the Seekers. I think those especially garner some distaste for the large feet. Let's go over his articulation. There are some problems with articulation, unfortunately, and some of them are old issues, some of them are new issues. But let's go over the head. Is on a double ball peg. If you pull this off the ball peg, the neck is shaped. So you want to have this circular part towards the front. It can get discombobulated if you rotate the head. So just keep track of that. But head itself can rotate, the neck can rotate. Head can go down to there. The chin can kind of fit inside that little notch in the hood. It can go back to there. You get side to side movement out of that, and you get a rotation. And like I mentioned, keep the neck aligned properly. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulders, so you get a double ball peg in there. So you get movement on both joints. So you get a nice big butterfly joint. The shoulder pad can go up to there. The shoulder itself can go up to there, and then you can lift up on the inner one, getting total all the way up to there, which works well. Nice tolerances on those joints. You have a rotation around on the ball joint, obviously. We have a rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow with a cover down elbow piece, which moves with the elbow. They always do cool stuff like that, Threezero. And this is no different. That looks nice. On the arm itself, we have these doors, which are attached with a ball joint. Just like we got for the Sideswipe figure, you can pop it off if you prefer. There's a full arm under there, so you don't have to have the door on there if you want. My preference, I think it looks good with it, so I would leave it. But you can pose these in a different direction if you want. The hands themselves are on a ball peg, double ball peg, so you get in and out, up and down, rotation, and they're pretty good looking hands. We have an ab crunch here, so it gets down all the way to there and back up to there. If you come to the back, you can see the detail that's exposed. It's really cool. Nice spine, sculpted detail, and painted detail. That looks very, very good. There are some red pieces right here. There's actually boosters even built into there. Nobody would even see that. You wouldn't even know that's there unless I had lifted it up and showed you. You just wouldn't even know that those were sitting right in there. So nice attention to detail. You have these pieces here. I don't love the way they work. They kind of fall off the ball joint too easily. They're like little intake vents. I wish they had just glued them on. Actually, I just dropped it. So I'm going to have to go find that later. I wish they had just glued these on rather than put them on a ball joint. They didn't need to be articulated, to be honest. they look fine from the front. So you could have just had that be attached. For the doors, these are on ball pegs, and in theory you should be able to rotate them down, but this one falls off. It's very frustrating that they fall off so easily. And again, these are the kind of problems that have plagued the MDLX series for a while. You know, it should be able to just fold down and then it disappears from the front. But like I said, this one, it just comes off the ball joint. That's really unfortunate. You can get it out to the side, you can get it straight, but as soon as you start rotating it, it comes off, and that's very irritating. You can take them off too if you want. You can just display it without it, but I think Jazz, you know, makes sense to have the doors there. Coming to back to the waist here, you have a side-to-side movement here. Showed you the ab crunch. You have a waist rotation at this lower waist joint. There's one at the upper one too. It just moves a little bit, but the lower one gets you all the way around. Coming down to the hip skirts, these again are done kind of poorly. You know, they have to figure out how to do this better. You know, it comes off too easily. When you rotate it up, it just pops off. You know, it's just, and I think it has to do with the fact that it's a double ball peg, so you kind of have to move these forward before you flip it up, so you can kind of get it working. But they're irritating. They're just irritating to deal with. And I really think they just need they need to figure out a better system for these hip skirts. The rear and side hip skirts are the same. They're on ball joints. I hate this idea of attaching the side hip skirt to the rear. They got to do something different. This doesn't work. It's just not well done. You don't get the articulation you need out of this. You're better off just taking it off the ball joint, just leave it off the figure. But if you move those hip skirts out of the way, the leg is on a drop-down hinge, so you can drop this up and down right here. That'll go up to there, back to there, out to the side on friction. Nice tolerance there. Rotation at the thigh on the ball joint, but also at universal. And again, these look nice. They actually look like little intakes, or you even pretend they're like speakers, like Jazz would have. I just don't like the function of it is not very good. Coming down to the legs. Oh, and the door fell out. I'm just going to leave it off for now. The knee joint is really nice. Double jointed. It does kind of collapse into the leg back here, and then it exposes this. The pieces are popping off. I just lost a hip skirt. One of the frustrations with this figure, but yeah, the knee does look good. You got that cover down piece, nice sculpted in detail. That really works well. Coming down to the feet, you have a little piece here for ankle cover. It doesn't really move much. I'm not really sure why they even needed that articulation, but it does move up and down. Kind of looks like a grill. The foot can go up to there, back to there, side to side to there, out to there, and a rotation at the ball joint. You do have this spoiler on the back, so just watch out for that. But I love the way that looks. The feet are a little bit big, but they do look good overall. All right, now let's take a look at his accessories. And I guess you could consider the doors accessories since they could be removed. But moving on to the hands, we get these open gripping hands by default. You can pop those off the ball joint. And then we can use his peace sign hands. And getting these on can be a little frustrating because the ball joint it moves around on you since it's a double ball peg, but there you go for that. You get the peace sign. We also get open trigger hands. And that's good for gripping the gun. You get one for each hand, so if you wanted to put in the other hand, you could. And just get that wedge in there. And you might want to heat this up. I found that this one goes in without having to heat it up, so I didn't bother. But pretty good looking gun. Stylized, of course. And then we get a saluting hand which I don't know the reference. I'll have to go back and look at cartoon. I don't remember him saluting anything, but pop this off. You can pop on the saluting hand, and again, just twist it on to the ball joint. It's kind of tight, but you can get him saluting. And then we get a kind of a new thing for him is this hand, which is done to be kind of lay flat on the ground. However, there's a bit of a problem in that I'm not sure how you're supposed to attach this. It doesn't look like it fits on here. Perhaps you're supposed to pull out the ball joint. You know, I don't really know. You pull this out somehow. I don't see any way to take this off. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you're meant to attach this, because this clearly doesn't fit on here. So I don't even know what you're supposed to do. But we do get the grappling hook, which will attach on that ball joint. And you get this nice painted silver hook. You can, you know, hook onto something, whatever. And that's a nice little accessory to include. What's missing, though, is a huge miss, in my opinion. It's a huge miss on their part, and that is the shoulder cannon. Now, when I unboxed this, I saw it said that you have to use the quote-unquote null ray from Sideswipe. So if you didn't buy Sideswipe, you don't have this feature. But basically, here's the shoulder cannon. They call it a null ray for some reason from Sideswipe, and those fit in right here on this guy. But unless you have this guy, you're not going to have this. You're going to come to here, you're going to pull out this little stopper. There's one on this side too, but I'm going to put it on this side. And that goes right into here. And it collides with the door, so you just got to get the door out of the way. Actually, you're probably better off just folding the doors or taking the doors off. They love to fall off, so. And it does look good, but man, what a huge miss to not include the shoulder cannon with Jazz. I would have rather have had that than this. I don't need this. I don't need the grappling hook. You know, really, it looks great. It just, how could you not include that? And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Threezero MDLX Animation Edition version of Optimus Prime. Fits in nicely with the Threezero scale here. And for another size comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys version of Jazz. Just so you can see the size. It is not quite Masterpiece scale. A little bit bigger than Chug scale, so somewhere in the middle there. So final recommendations on the Threezero Transformers MDLX Jazz. And by the way, you could see I finally got it on that posed hand. It really had to push it hard onto that peg in order to get it squared away. And I, of course, put on the peace sign hand as well. And it's cool that they can do this, but I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. And while I think it looks amazing, I love the paint job, I love the sculpt, I just think it's a cool version of Jazz. At a $90 price point for an action figure, it really can't have problems like hip skirts popping off, the door is not staying on right. Little things like that are kind of inexcusable because this thing doesn't need to transform. Really, all it needs to do is articulate. And just by articulating those parts, the hip skirts and the doors, they come off. There's no good reason for that. You know, they should have figured that out by now, especially this late in the game. You know, this is like their 10th figure, I want to say, you know. And by their 10th figure, they really got to figure out issues like that. So while I do think it looks cool, and I love that it can do this, I just think, you know, no excuse. I can't give them a pass on that stuff. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.